Good evening. I'm here to discuss Truman Elementary School. Truman Elementary School is not making desired progress in reading. Some grades are doing better than others, and that's based on the documentation found on Document 1, or excuse me, Document 4. It shows that grade to grade changes are positive in some cases. They're not always negative. We know that the parents working through the PTO are aware that there's a reading deficit and they desire corrective actions. And we also know that the principal has called in a reading specialist to determine and verify the problems regarding the school's reading instruction and has determined that the current program of instruction needs to be brought in line with current research. Specifically, it says uh, this includes both the content of what is taught as well as the delivery of instruction. So they have some teaching problems there. We also know that a grant is available to fund a reading instructional program, and this grant has several stipulations. Um, the grant, I believe, is secondary. The most important thing that we're dealing with is the fact that we need to improve reading instruction because the scores are not what they ought to be. All right, so what do I need to know? I need to know why are my students falling behind. I need to know what I can do to help my students improve. I need to know who are the students that are negatively affecting the numbers. And would this grant be beneficial to my students? Obviously, money is something that every school wants to have, but specifically, what are the benefits of this program for my students? And then, can my school even get the grant? Now, looking at A and B, we do have a little bit of an answer to that because based on what was given to us by the reading specialist, there are certain things that we can do to make changes to the benefit of our students. So identifying the problem. What is the best course of action to improve reading scores, and will I be able to use the grant in order to assist with the improvements? That is the problem. Right now, the reading scores seem to be the most important thing. And as stated in the documents, it says that of particular concern is the reading achievement of students. So that's where my focus is. Yes, there does seem to be a small problem with math, but the focus is on the reading. All right, so my plan of action. The first thing I'm going to do is immediately implement the suggestions made by the reading specialist. It was stated that a comprehensive professional development will be necessary to fulfill all the reading specialist suggestions. Um, we don't have to fulfill all of them right now. We can put in place that what we can, and the other things we'll put in as soon as possible. So professional development needs to be developed and arranged as soon as possible. All right, a plan should be created to implement any of the reading specialist recommendations that we can't put into place immediately. So yes, we know we need to have PD, but anything else that we need needs to be organized in order to implement the reading specialist plans. And finally, we need to analyze the available data to see if we qualify for the grant. We don't know if we qualify for the grant yet. So the strategies that I am going to use, first off, most importantly, I'm going to make the staff and the parents aware of the reading specialist findings. This should not be a surprise to the parents because some of their statements reflect what was said by the reading specialist. I also am going to express to the staff and parents that we will be making changes to the curriculum and that they will be provided with extensive support. It's important to let the teachers know that they will be supported because it's going to be difficult to get them to buy into something if it just means work that they're not able to do. All right, and finally, I'm going to provide the staff with the ability to collaborate on developing the new reading program. Based on the information in the documentation, it's stated that some teachers were utilizing methods that other teachers weren't, and it appears that they had just figured them out on their own. So by allowing the teachers that have already developed these skills to collaborate with other teachers and to participate in the development of this new program will make the work easier for everyone, and it would probably be beneficial to some of the other teachers that don't have the same skills. I'm also going to provide the opportunity for parents to provide feedback and continue to express their opinions. It appears that the way they expressed their opinions the first time was beneficial to this process. Resolving the issues based on promoting success of all students. One thing that I need to do in order to ensure that all students are being taken care of is I need to analyze the data to see if that 15% of students in poverty is doing poorly. If that group is doing poorly in a disproportionate fashion, then it is possible that we may be able to get that grant because we could draw the line between poverty and achievement. And if there's an achievement gap there, then we might be able to get that money. We also need to look at the ESL population. That will not affect the grant, but it's our duty to make sure that all populations are being served. So there is a possibility there that if the ESL students are not doing as well, then addressing them could make our scores look better. So continuing with resolving the issues, I'm immediately creating a plan to implement the changes suggested by the reading specialist. This will benefit all students because it calls for utilizing various methods. The reading specialist found out that teachers were pretty much using one method of instruction. If they're using one method of instruction and you have a bunch of different students, it's not going to work. So by implementing these changes, we will be able to reach more students effectively. One example you have here is using ability groups. Parents were concerned that the more advanced students were being held back by slower students. Well, using these groups allows you to kind of group the more advanced students together, and then they're able to move on independently possibly, while the struggling students could receive some more help. Okay, what I was thinking and feeling and valuing. One of the things that I valued and felt good about was that the PTO, the principal, and the reading specialist were all on the same page. Everyone saw an issue and immediately worked to address that in a positive fashion. I also believe that it was good that the reading specialist suggestions matched up with some of the things that the parents wanted. The parents saw something, the reading specialist saw the same thing. That's going to allow for a good working relationship because there's not a big discrepancy between um, viewpoints. Okay, and secondly, everyone was aware and concerned. Um, that's very important in moving forward. All right. I also valued that the principal brought in an outside party to immediately address the situation. It's good to bring in an outside party because you get an objective viewpoint that is good for bringing people together. If the principal just said it, then possibly the teachers might not feel as confident about it, nor would the parents, possibly. But by having an objective outsider to address their specialty, it's going to make things work out a little bit better. It's going to add to the confidence of all parties involved. So unresolved issues. How do we improve math scores? We never addressed that. That's not the focal point here. But we could say that the principal could take the same approach, bring in a specialist to see if there's issues with the curriculum. We don't know if we qualify for the grant yet. We don't know for sure if there are achievement gaps or if that 15% poverty is going to get us where we need to be. We have shown that we are willing to analyze and look at our curriculum, which is beneficial. We also need to make sure that the curriculum does not become ineffective. The way that we could handle that is to establish a plan to review the curriculum. And I suggest curriculum mapping and review. And with those reviews, we'll keep the parents in the loop as to the progress that's being made. All right, and finally, evidence that I promote the success of all students by acting as an agent for continuous improvement. Parents' concerns were taken seriously and acted upon. Parents were given the opportunity to give feedback on the changes. Teachers are being provided supports to meet the new goals. Teachers are being asked to collaborate in developing the new reading program. The principal did not simply rely on his own expertise, brought in outside support to ensure that the proper actions were being taken. I addressed that earlier. That's very important. An analysis of the data was conducted to see if any student groups were suffering disproportionately, and data was used to prove that there was a problem in the first place. The idea that the reading scores are down was placed in this table, and we can see across the years and grades that there is actually a problem. And finally, recognizing that a plan should be in place to prevent the curriculum from becoming ineffective. By doing that, we can stay ahead of any potential problems with the curriculum. And by doing that, we're not leaving any students behind, even if it's for only a short time. Thank you.